Okay, so I decided to re-upload this video because I had to make a correction on something I said. I wanted to make sure there was no confusion. I quoted what Madrimov said about who he thinks is going to win the fight. Madrimov, he said that if the fight goes the distance, he's picking Crawford. If it ends in a knockout, he's picking Canelo to win by knockout. And in the previous video that I just uploaded, I said that Madrimov, he said if the fight goes the distance, he's picking Canelo. If it ends in a knockout, he's picking Canelo. So I wanted to correct that and re-upload the video. And since I decided to re-upload the video, I added a little bit more commentary. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into it. Dontae's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So Israel Madrimov, who's fighting against Virgil Ortiz next weekend, he gave his prediction and breakdown of how he believes the Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford fight will play out. And out of all the professional boxers that have given their take on this fight, when it comes to Madrimov, his prediction is one of the most interesting because he's been in the ring with Terence Crawford and he gave Terence Crawford one of his toughest fights. Madrimov, he also said that Terence Crawford is his favorite fighter. So when he was asked to give his take on that fight, here's what he said to Fight Hub.
Good fight. You know, if 168 pounds, I think it's Canelo, but it's Canelo better technique because 50-50. If 12 rounds, Crawford win, I think. If knockout, it's Canelo.
What makes Crawford so difficult to fight against?
He has power, smart, in more practical.
He has more experience.
Okay, so Madrimov, he believes that if the fight ends in a KO, Canelo wins. And if it goes the distance, Crawford wins. Now, that's a fair assessment, but I believe if Canelo couldn't knock out Jermell Charlo, he's most likely not going to be able to knock out Terence Crawford. But with that being said, I actually believe Canelo Alvarez, there's a chance he could win this fight by knockout or decision because we don't know how Terence Crawford is going to react to getting punched by Canelo Alvarez at such a high weight class. Crawford is walking around at 186 pounds right now, which means he's most likely sparring against much bigger guys. And he's probably knocking them out in sparring. But I'm going to keep saying this. Sparring and a real fight are two different things. In sparring, you got much bigger gloves. You have headgear on. A lot of professional boxers beat up much bigger guys in sparring. So just that alone doesn't necessarily tell us that Crawford is going to beat Canelo Alvarez. But the fact that Terence Crawford is the best fighter in the world, better than all those other fighters that beat up much bigger guys in sparring, gives him a much better chance of winning this fight. There was something else that Madrimov said that I noticed I thought was pretty interesting. When he was asked, what makes Terence Crawford so special, one of the first things he pointed out was Terence Crawford's power. He was impressed with Terence Crawford's power moving up to 154, which explained why in that fight, if you guys notice, especially the second half of that fight, every time Terence Crawford got real aggressive with Madrimov, he would just tie up Crawford. You would expect the smaller guy to do that as opposed to the guy who just moved up in weight. Madrimov, he never wanted to fight on the inside with Terence Crawford. At first, he would lead with the right hand and then fall into a clinch and he would tie up Crawford. But in the second half of the fight or closer to the championship rounds, Madrimov, he would lead with a clinch. And now Madrimov is confirming it was because of Terence Crawford's power. It's pretty impressive that he was able to carry his power to 154, especially considering the fact that Terence Crawford started his professional career at 135. Now, I heard some Canelo Alvarez fans in my comment section, or I seen them in my comment section saying, hey, well, Dontae, Canelo, he started his career at 135 or 140 as well. The difference is Canelo Alvarez, he turned pro at age 15. So he was still growing. It's not the same thing. By the time Canelo Alvarez was a grown man, he was fighting at 154. And he had a hard time even making weight at 154 because that's when he started creating his own catch weights above 154. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but when Canelo Alvarez was fighting at 154, he was training out in Las Vegas, and he used to go to the gyms out there. Canelo used to walk around at nearly 200 pounds when he was fighting at 154. Now, this was before anyone really knew who Canelo Alvarez was. When I was still out there in Las Vegas, I was talking to one of the gym owners of one of the gyms that Canelo used to train at. And he told me when he seen Canelo Alvarez train at the gym, he was asking, like, who is this guy and what division does he fight at? When they told him he fought at 154, he couldn't believe it because he was walking around at nearly 200 pounds. So Canelo has always been big, and he knows how to use his size as his advantage. I'll wrap this video up by saying this. Once again, Madrimov, he said, if this fight ends in a knockout, then he's picking Canelo. Now, Canelo, he hasn't scored a knockout in a very long time, and if he couldn't knock out Jermell Charlo, it's hard for me to believe he would knock out Terence Crawford, which is why I truly believe Canelo has a better chance of beating Crawford by decision than knocking him out. But if Canelo can't get Terence Crawford's respect, then Crawford is going to most likely outbox him. And just in case I didn't already say it, the only way Canelo Alvarez is going to win this fight by decision is if he has zero respect for Crawford's power and he's just walking through everything Crawford throws like he did with Miguel Cotto. But we know Terence Crawford, he ain't no Miguel Cotto or Jermell Charlo. With that being said, I'm going to wrap this video up. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one. All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, fever blisters, diabetic ulcers, this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called LO Decay Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to lodecay.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram. Let me tell you guys about Issa Israel Law Firm. It is a full-service legal practice based in Denver, Colorado, an emerging hub for combat sports and high-altitude training. If you're a fighter inside or outside of the ring and you need a law firm you can trust to fight for you, visit thefighterfirm.com or email help@iilawfirm.com. Legal representation is usually limited to plaintiffs or defendants in Colorado, but iFirm can help anyone in the world with trademarking their business name, logos, and U.S. immigration issues. This brother has been my attorney for a while and helped guide me through all kinds of business and civil issues, so make sure you guys go to thefighterfirm.com.